Rosa, could you please stop sharing? Thank you. I think most of our students have joined in, including our staff members. So I think it's time for us to start the session. So let me start with this. Francis Scott Fitzgerald, who is known, he is now widely regarded as one of the greatest American writers of the 20th century, once said, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function." We, the organizing committee, believes debating competition tests and builds the ability by forcing students to see both sides of an issue. Therefore, we thought of organizing the Battle Ring online debate competition to encourage our students to dive into current affairs of the country while providing them a platform to sharpen and test their English language skills. Good evening, everyone. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to this wonderful event organized by the Department of Export Agriculture with the patronship of the Department Ahead Grants. In order to commence the program, I would like to cordially invite Professor A.M.W.K. Seniviratna, Head, Department of Export Agriculture, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Vidarshani, and good evening, everyone. And as Vidarshani said, today we have gathered for a special event organized by the AHEAD project of the Department
Recording in progress.
Agriculture. And I am not going to explain the event. Ms. Vidarshani explained it. And straight away, I will move on to my welcome address. On behalf of the Department of Export, I welcome Professor Dean of the Faculty of Animal Science and for this event, professors, senior lecturers, and all other staff members who are joining to this event. And today we have two important debating groups. And I welcome two leaders and all the members of the two groups who are the main actors today. And also I welcome all the panel members. I'm not going to explain, give the details. Ms. Vidarshani will introduce the panel members. And I welcome all the panel members to this event. And also all the students, first year, second year, third year, export agriculture, tea technology and value addition, and palm and latex technology value addition degree program. All the students joining to this event and the members of the Agro Club. And finally, I should appreciate the effort taken by the AHEAD project, especially the coordinator, Dr. Prasad Mahindaratna, and activity coordinator, Professor Janaka Vijay Singha, and Ms. Vidarshani, and all the team who are organizing this event. You all are welcome, and I wish all the success of this event. And thank you very much, and have an interesting debate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So before we start the competition, I believe it is my responsibility to introduce you to our honorable panel of judges. So first we have Professor H.M.S. Kehera, Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture. And then we have as another member of our panel, Professor A.M.W.K. Seneviratne, Head, Department of Export Agriculture, followed by Professor W.A.J.P. Vijay Singha, Department of Export Agriculture. And finally, we have Dr. M.G.P.P. Mahindaratna, Senior Lecturer, Department of Export Agriculture. So all these eminent panelists will be evaluating your performance today in order to give away the trophies and certificates. So, and also I would like to take a moment to brief you a little bit regarding the rules of the competition. So it goes like this. First opportunity will be given to the proposing team, followed by the speakers of the opposing team. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for the speech. Upon completion of 4 minutes, we will ring the bell once to let you know that you have 1 more minute to wind up. At the end of the 5 minutes, we will again ring the bell twice to let you know the time is up. And also, leaders of the both teams will be getting an additional 3 minutes at the end of the competition to provide the concluding remarks. So that those are our rules for the competition. And let me then introduce you to our two teams. And as our proposing team, they will be battling under the title of ban on agrochemical usage is a timely need that will propel the country towards sustainability, which is a very time appropriate topic, I must say. So, under our proposing team, the proposing team is led by Raushan Nistar, representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. And the second speaker for the proposing team is Madhushani Jayatilaka, again representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program, followed by Odara Lakshi, representing Export Agriculture Degree Program. And then we have in the fourth place, Sonali Nivartana, representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. In the fifth place, we have Sachini Tisera, representing Export Agriculture Degree Program. And the final speaker for the proposing team is Sukita Ratnayaka, representing Palm and Latex Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. If I introduce you to the opposing team, they will be battling under the topic ban on agrochemical usage is not a timely need that will propel the country towards sustainability. So their lineup is as follows. The team will be led by Sanoj Rosa, representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. And the second speaker for the team is Tulmi Jayasundara, again representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. Third speaker, Nimna Devindi, representing Palm and Latex Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. Fourth speaker is Pimsara Aryatilaka, representing Export Agriculture Degree Program. The fifth speaker is J. Intujan, representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. And the final speaker for the opposing team is Shashi Ekanayaka, representing Export Agriculture Degree Program. I wish both teams best of luck and may the best team win. So now I think it's high time that we move on to the battle without taking further ado. I would like to invite Mr. Raushan Nistar, representing the proposing team, to the battle ring. Raushan, you can now switch on your video camera and microphone and start your speech. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Let me share my screen. So, am I audible and visible?
Yes, Raushan. Okay, clear. We can hear you.
Okay. So I will start in 3, 2, 1 second. Respectable deans of the faculties, heads of the department, respectable lecturers, the honorable judges, and respectable audience, and who are here to take something from us and who will be with us standing by our side in this battle in order to make a change. What we have to do. I'm pretty sure that all of you are not in our side. Yeah, maybe. But okay, let's make it together as the change starts from our mind. And I think that's what we are here today. Okay, let's move to the point of what is the change that my house is going to take you all and how all of us should agree with my house's proposition. In order to guarantee the people's right to such safe food, the entire Sri Lankan agriculture will be promoted to use organic fertilizers during the next 10 years. So, what is this statement? I think that the statement was heard by all of us a couple of months ago in a newspaper or in television and whatever the other medias, including social platforms. This was stated by the Honorable President. My house is ready to propose on the topic, which is ban on agrochemical usage is a timely need that will propel the country towards sustainability. Is this the real thing? Okay, let me acknowledge with a truth about where it will be showing you that all is gone. So see this picture which I have shared. Why has this cycle happened? Isn't this the time to make a change? In 1962, the first subsidy for chemical fertilizers was introduced where the red bulb started to light on all ecology, human health, and total agriculture. We ourselves, as human, are obviously somewhat cared on us than the others. It is the self-care that we have in the aspects of health, economy, and all others. So at that time, the reason post 1962, I think that man really focused on higher yield through agriculture without care in the nature. The usage of agrochemicals have definitely brought us on a wrong way for a longer distance up to now, as like the virtual maps that we are using day to day. We must be aware of our destination where it is not appropriate to totally depend on the map. This could be done by asking a person on our way to destination, but I think that the scenario in our case is worse than the situation that I told you now. So where we have only relied on the agrochemicals increasing the yield, and we have totally forgotten about other matters like human health, soil health of our country, and the total agriculture. Normally things get time to be understood, but the adverseness of these agrochemicals have been understood by us right today. So my house proposed that this is the correct and perfect time to make change. So it's our decision to make a change by standing on this new decision to be taken by the government. I really want to say one thing about the permission which have been granted on this excellent thing by the government, and really happy that the base body of the country is aware on this issue, where the permission of a policy change is not an easy task these days with the government. If a change doesn't happen now, uh, what how it would be in the future, I state is not farther, but it will be in the near future, where the agricultural commodities would be killing people than the COVID-19 pandemic. So I and the other members of my house are very clear and stick to the point that there must be a change in order to get rid of the worst situation we are to face. So second speaker of my house is ready to acknowledge with what sustainability and how does this sustainability can be achieved by banning agrochemicals. And the third speaker of my house will be acknowledging you all with the misconception on agrochemicals and the adverse effects of this so-called agrochemicals. Next, the fourth speaker of our house is ready with some success stories in both local and foreign aspects, where it will surely increase the positive perspective on this organic farming and agrochemicals are actually not the essential thing at any cost, as our opposition team is battling on. And mainly some other main headlines are to be talked is about the usage of biofertilizers. I definitely say that my house is ready to take you to the decision, and also we are ready to acknowledge our opposition members with their misconception on this issue. Let me clear you the point of opposition further. Okay, the time in the sense that that's the thing runs second to second, minute to minute, and so on. So it can't be stopped by anything in this world. It's also the same with Sri Lanka, and also the same with the agriculture, and also finally same with the way of doing the agriculture. I say whether it is organic or inorganic. There's a saying in English that uh, strike the iron while it's hot. So this is the time. This is the thing that the time is precious, and the efficient usage of time is important. Coming to the time, let us be positive, ignoring this pandemic situation and fighting other challenges. We will go ahead to bring up a change through this green revolution. So let us help the nature by using the nature and without harming it. This is what the ban on agrochemicals comes to count. So that's the end of my part, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Roshan. That was a very interesting speech, and I think you posed a good challenge to our opposing team. So, to take up the challenge, we have from the opposing team the team leader, Sanoj Rosa. Rosa, now it's your time. Switch on your video camera and your microphone.
Yes, madam, am I audible?
Yes, quite clear.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much. So I'll start my speech after counting down. So let me start my speech in three, two, one. Faculty, members of the staff, invitees, my colleagues, and the honorable panel of judges. Why do we have debates? We have debates because on certain aspects around us, our beliefs aren't the same. After this April 2021, if you can recall, how many debates, how many webinars were conducted on the same topic we're debating about today? The government make changes of policies time to time, and that's not something new. But this particular one, see how much chaos and drama it has caused. So, isn't that more than enough to justify the fact that the ban on agrochemical usage is not a timely need that will propel the country towards sustainability? So, this is what my team will be proving throughout this meeting, in which the proposing team has no chance of winning. So let me straight away come to a very, very important point, which is valid universally and not only for agriculture and fertilizers, and that is implementation of a new system. First, the current system should be checked for errors and information should be gathered on how to improve the existing one. Use that information and a new system should be developed. And should it be developed straight away? No. Then the most important part, the feasibility study. Is the new system feasible? Is it economically feasible? Is it socially feasible? Is it technologically feasible? And even the answers are yes, 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 and yes, no. You still don't implement it. You have to run it first as a pilot program alongside the existing one. And if that's successful only, the old system is removed. And if that's successful only, the new one gets the green light. So, my dearest proposing team, and of course, all the participants who are listening, think honestly. Did that happen in the recent policy, in the recent fertilizer policy change? It did not, did it? We did not have a clue. The farmers had no clue. Timing is all about preparation. Were the farmers prepared? So is the timing correct? There's something very confusing running in my mind. If a shift to 100% organic agriculture is that important and that profitable as some say, for this long, why is it only 0.4% of the global agricultural lands are practicing this? 0.4. 0.4, not even 1%. Why is it so unpopular? I'm talking globally, not figures from Sri Lanka. And even in Sri Lanka, it's only 2.5% of land practicing organic farming. You might say small and medium scale enterprises cannot afford, but what about the big plantation companies? And what about all the other countries with huge economies and resources? It's not economically feasible. It's not practical. So let me also quote from Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor. This is from the National Vision. Okay, so this is to obtain these only the policies are implemented. A productive citizen, a happy family, a disciplined society, and a prosperous nation. So tell me, with the recent policy change, did the citizens be more productive? Did it make the farming families happy? Was it discipline or chaos we saw in the country? Are there any signs of making this nation prosperous? Why? Why? Because of non-rational decisions taken at bad timing. Preparing a whole country which is used for inorganic fertilizers for decades to stop using them takes years and years of preparation and testing. This is a policy change which should be made in another 10 years of time, in 2030, not in 2021. So my team will further elaborate why we stand on the ground on why this ban is not a timely need for sustainability by showing the devastating effect of COVID-19, the disadvantages if we remove chemical fertilizers totally, by predicting how the economy will suffer, and also the practical problems our farm heroes had to have faced already. So thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Rosa, for those very thought-provoking, I must say, thought-provoking speech. And I think you both of you have has laid a very solid foundation to begin with. So next, to take up the challenge, we have Madhushani Jatilaka from the proposing team. But before I go there, I just want to mention a small thing, especially for our honorable judge panel. Please note that both our leaders will be getting another opportunity at the end of the, they will be having another opportunity at the end. Therefore, kindly consider both speeches when giving them marks. So with that note, I would like to now call upon the second speaker from the proposing team, that is Madhushani Jayatilaka. Madhushani, the stage is yours.
We can hear you.
Madhushani, yes.
Can
Could
you
you?
hear me?
Yes, Madhushani, we can hear you. Could you please unmute? Could you please switch on your video as well?
I think I. Is it okay?
You are not visible. You are audible though.
Madam, let me interrupt, madam.
Yeah, sure.
Madam, I think she is visible.
Not okay, then yeah. Madhushani?
Start, madam.
Okay, could you please start then? Yeah,
Can
sure.
I start, madam?
Sure,
Yeah,
go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you. Cocaine, heroin, crystal meth, marijuana. What are they? They are narcotic, dangerous to health. They will make you high. More importantly, once you have started using them, you have need more and more and more. My dear audience, who are expert in field of agriculture, does this ring any bells to you? Are we addicted to a such narcotic? Is there something is yours which our agricultural land did not want in beginning, but once it started using something it which couldn't which don't which couldn't be get rid of. Yeah, yes, of course you are right. Inorganic fertilizer, we all know the legendary fertility of Sri Lankan soil. Today when you get to hear that farmers cannot grow crops without inorganic fertilizer, as proud Sri Lankas, what do you feel? Narcotic make you high but kill you inside. Inorganic fertilizer will you make yield high, but will kill the soil inside. It kill the soil inside. My dear audience, when it comes to synthetic fertilizer, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassiums are three very famous nutrients among the farmers. Among these three, let me highlight nitrogens. Do you know another very famous product manufactured using nitrogens? TNT, bambos. After the Second World War, factories which produced nitrogens for high explosive need to find a market to provide nitrogen and run their businesses. Unfortunately, agricultural sector was the victim who doesn't like vitamins to grow better and stronger. Farmers were convenient of more yield and tricked into using synthetic fertilizers. So I hope I hope opposition understands that inorganic fertilizer came to agriculture in the first place, not because the crop needed it, not because the crop needed it. Take Sri Lankan tea industry for example. We proud 300 million of kilograms tea per annum, and for that we use 150 million kilogram of fertilizers. So 1 kilogram of your tea is a half of kilogram of fertilizer. Is that a good thing? How? Even thought my opposition teams believes the ban of agrochemicals is not a timely decision. I am sure they will agree with me if I say that we should make Sri Lankan sustainable, that we should make the ecosystem of our nation sustainable, and that we should make our agriculture sustainable. So tell me, is it possible to reach the goals of sustainability with synthetic fertilizer, with inorganic fertilizer? Let me explain why. Sustainability means meeting the need of the present without harming the ability of future generation to meet their needs. The harvesting we do we do today is more like an exploitations of their earth resources, because we are not given anything in return. We not give anything returns. If you think inorganic fertilizer can pay back the price, you are wrong. The soil is not something lifeless. We'll know all these artificial chemicals, genetic modified organisms, high yielding varieties are result of green revolution which could took place about 50 years back. Do not forget the beginning of agriculture. The beginning of organic agriculture was thousands of years before that. See the damage. See the damage. What took the test of time to thousands of years was destroyed within half of century of inorganic fertilizer. So how could anybody argue that a shift to any organic based agriculture is bad, regardless of time? Let me end with a good hope to you, hope to all. The sustainability we are trying to achieve is not something new. It was there 60 years before. So it is not impossible. We need is some sacrifice. We all we need some sacrifice. And to the first speaker from the opposition teams, no pain, no gain. The government want to create happy family only if you are ready, only if you are ready, make effort to make its green moment successfully. Thank you for you.
Thank you, Madhushani. Nicotine will make you high, but will kill you inside. Interesting indeed. Actually, I think a really good challenge posed there. So, the second speaker from the Fosen team, Dulmi Jayasundara, are you ready to break through this motion?
Yes, madam. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
I'm starting in 3, 2, 1 second. First of all, um, I'll show you one figure. You can see a significant decline in tea productions. Can you imagine what is the reason for that? The reason is COVID-19 pandemic situation. The productions of tea registered a notable decline of 7.1% in 2020 due to adverse weather conditions and labor supply disruptions due to COVID-19 containment measures. Total tea productions with the inorganic fertilizer is 272 million kilogram, and total tea productions with organic fertilizer is 174 million kilograms. We already have a decline trend in tea production. For example, in 2010, total tea production was 330 million kilos, covering 222,000 hectares. In 2020, 289 million kilos of tea productions, covering 253,000 hectares. The researchers and the experienced growers have predicted that a 50% reductions in the yield has to be anticipated with the ban of chemical fertilizer. A significant decline in some of the major agriculture industries due to this situation, such as livestock. Can you imagine what will be happen in the future? Nowadays, factory efficiency is 60% due to COVID-19. If this trend continues, efficiency will decrease further, and some factory will have to stop operations. This sudden ban of agrochemicals will only worsen the problem. It directly affects the line family and their livelihood. On the other hand, COVID-19 regulation affected to the agriculture field. Transportation in lockdown period is the main problem, the resulting low productivity. Other problem is extent officers cannot visit to the agriculture field. Then it mainly affected to the farmer. Such as they cannot get the advice for their problems, then productivity will drop sharply. Sri Lankan economy activities were disrupted by unprecedented preventive measures such as lockdown and mobility restrictions implemented globally and locally during the pandemic situation. Food insecurity resulting hunger in the short run, child malnutrition has been a long-standing issue in Sri Lanka. Despite the fact that agricultural production was not limited, movement limitations resulted in a scarcity of people for labor-intensive crop cultivation. Second speaker in proposing team mentioned about green revolutions as an enemy to the economy. I would like to tell you something. Many developing nations, including Mexico, India, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Sri Lanka, adopted the green revolutions as a key policy response in 1960s. This was a response to a number of serious problems in traditional agriculture, such as low productions, farmer vulnerability, poverty, hunger. As a result, agricultural experts and others have been looking at several methods to enhance the small-scale agricultural industry and the lives of rural farmers. A variety of innovative agricultural technologies were used to bring about the transformation. Many ex-colonial countries experienced populations growth after decolonizations, despite traditional agriculture stagnating. These governments need to improve the circumstance in rural because people were fleeing the metropolis, which were becoming unmanageable. New seed types, new agricultural practices such as planting, mechanical type technologies were all part of the government's new package. All of these new approaches eventually increased land production. As a result, the people received a considerably higher output, while farmers' terrible living conditions and scarcity related to concern were resolved. Finally, let me say, this is not correct time for banning of agrochemicals and fertilizer. I suppose that government should take another decisions to solve this problem, not taken that decisions during the pandemic period. It is very harmful to the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Durmi. There were some very interesting facts brought by our second speaker, Durmi Jayasundara. So we'll see the third speaker for the proposing team is Odara Lakshmi. We'll see how she addressed the facts brought by Durmi. Odara, you can now switch on your camera and your microphone.
Am I audible and visible enough?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Do you know why we don't eat something fresh just plucked from the field? Or wash some vegetables before we eat? The reason is agrochemicals. Even though agrochemicals provided fascinating yield increments in agricultural crops during first few decades, their dark side on environmental sustainability was revealed at the global level since 1960s. Agrochemical importers have a strong influence on farmers due to the large number of trade names. Farmers can overuse the same active ingredient from different names on field, making the pollution and health hazards more intense. So this is the time for a change. Dear audience, do you know that Sri Lankan agrochemicals has marked serious implications to health, and some of them are serious pesticide poisoning, especially in the dry zone in Sri Lanka. had a self-poisoning rate of 52% from pesticide, and pesticide exposure has been explored as chronic kidney disease epidemic etiological factor of focus due to high amount of disease occurrence in dry zone, marking over 100 phosphates kill pests through a biological pathway that may also cause harm to humans and animals. The acute exposure to pesticides associated with negative health effects such as cancer, respiratory diseases, kidney diseases, skin diseases, and also death. You may think if you get careful, you will be saved. But these residues also accumulate in the soil, and their long term usage can lead us to soil loss of soil fertility, soil pH, soil moisture, and they can affect the microflora in the rhizosphere, leading to erosion, as has happened to nearly 60% of the arable lands in Sri Lanka, including large extent of tea and upcountry vegetable growing areas are contaminated. And for example, I must say in 2019, the maximum residue level of tea had exceeded. So Japan had to return some tea shipments and even threatened Sri Lanka to stop imports Ceylon tea. Another one is from a research done in Wayambara University of Sri Lanka has found that higher pesticide residue level of vegetables and the highest mark by cabbages allocated from Dambulla diazinon 0.17 milligrams per kilogram. And not only for plants, villages in rural areas also use irrigation canals, rivers, lakes, and free source of as a free source of bathing water and drinking water. And these water sources are likely to be heavily contaminated with pesticides, not only due to the runoff but also as a direct consequences from pesticide sprayers. Pest adaptation to pesticides make more frequent uses because it's easy for farmers. According to research in Frontiers, pesticide affects the physiology, activity, and diversity of various aquatic and terrestrial non-target organisms like pollinators, making a threat to the biodiversity. Dear audience, do you know that recent study reporting on a meta-analysis of 766 scientific papers concluded that organic farming produces more diversity than other farming systems. One of the best designed animal studies, the second generation chickens receiving the conventionally grown feed demonstrated a faster growth rate, but in the immune challenge, chickens receiving the organic feed recovered more quickly. So maybe, dear audience, if we had continued organic agriculture and we did not use these types of inorganic agrochemicals up to this extent, now maybe we'll be able to find a cure to COVID also with the diverse healthy gene pool of plants that we had. But now it's all gone. Even though Sri Lanka realized the depth of agrochemicals, the warnings on their excessive usage were left unheard for the last 2 decades for profit maximization and risk management needs. If we were going to do regulations, we had plenty of time to do that, but we didn't do that for decades, and still talking about regulations is a myth. So now finally we have come to shift to organic agriculture and ban agrochemicals, and I'm asking my opponent team, with all these risk factors, health hazards, and contaminations to the biodiversity, when people's lives and biodiversity are at stake, are you still telling that we still have time to wait till 2030 or till the pandemic is over? Thank you.
Thank you, Adara. So Odara brought some very interesting arguments backed by some interesting facts. So our next speaker, Nimna Devindi, are you ready to fight back? Nimna, it's your opportunity.
Okay, madam. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. I'm going to start. 3, 2, 1. When we consider about agrochemicals, it contains fertilizers, pesticides, soil conditioners, plant growth regulators, etc. Advantages of using inorganic fertilizers is one of the most suitable criteria that can be used to show the importance of agrochemicals. According to my opinion, inorganic fertilizers are more suitable than organic fertilizers. Why I say that? Inorganic fertilizers contain high level of nutrients than organic fertilizers. As an agriculture student, I can prove that by taking the fertilizers used in coconut cultivation as an example. As inorganic fertilizers, we use urea, a power rock phosphate, muriate of potash, and dolomite, etc. And as organic fertilizers, we can use cattle manure, goat manure, cow dung, compost, etc. By comparing of these two fertilizers, the urea contain 46% of nitrogen and goat manure contain 2.2 to 3.4 percentage of nitrogen. And a power rock phosphate contains 28% to 30% of phosphorus and goat manure contains 0.3 to 0.7 percentage of phosphorus, and muriate of potash contains 60% of potassium and cattle manure contains 0.5 to 1.1% of potassium. As an inorganic fertilizer, we use dolomite as a source of magnesium, and dolomite contains 20% of magnesium and compost contains 0.2 to 0.5% of magnesium. So we can see organic fertilizers contain very low amount of nutrients. So we have to apply a large quantity of fertilizers into this field. So we have to pay a lot of money. Not only that, but also the nutrients in inorganic fertilizers are present in certain proportions and not in organic fertilizers. And the purity of inorganic fertilizers are higher than organic fertilizers because organic fertilizers may contain disease causative agents. And so, by considering all of these factors in the view of the current situation of the country, this can be a disadvantage for the farmers because they have to pay a lot of money. Actually, organic fertilizers are good if we are a developed country, but still we are a developing country. The problems our farmers have already faced is more than enough. No need to put them into any more troubles. My focus then shift to the pest and disease control by using agrochemicals, because there are a variety of chemicals such as bactericides, fungicides, algicides, etc. If this agrochemical ban occurs, damages caused to the plants cannot be controlled because this is not a formal reduction here. The best example is blight disease of tea cultivation in Sri Lanka because it causes a high yield loss for the tea cultivation. We are experiencing the demand for Sri Lankan tea in the global market is experiencing reduction year by year. As a result of this disease damage, the affected tea leaves cannot be used for the tea production because they are not good quality tea leaves. So the quantity of tea production will be reduced rapidly. So we can use chemicals such as copper oxychloride as to control this disease. And you can remember armworm also controlled by using chemicals. So is there any 100% effective natural treatment to control this pest and disease damages? So that's really good if it is so, but the problem is that is not. In Sri Lanka, most of the times we practice integrated fertilizers such as especially in tea mulching, we use mana as an organic fertilizer. So it means Sri Lanka not only depend on inorganic fertilizers. So why such kind of agrochemical ban even when we use integrate system? So how we can bear this yield lost according to the current situation of the country? Finally, as the proposing team, third speaker said, we can protect our environment by avoiding these inorganic fertilizers. Yeah, that's completely true. But is it enough to protect our environment by ignoring the hunger of the human, the journey of the country towards sustainability? So my dear audience, this is not suitable. I think ban on agrochemicals is not appropriate in the current situation of the country. This will not lead for the sustainability. Think to think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nimna. So next up, we have in the proposing team Sonali Divardhana. Sonali, are you there? Sonali? Okay, Sonali, it's your turn to fight back.
Madam, I am audible and visible.
Yes.
I'm going to start. 3, 2, 1. Foreign and local success stories. Usage of organic fertilizer. This is not a new phenomenon to the world, although society is debating organic fertilizer with the ban on the use of agrochemicals. We are not saying to start new something that is not in the world all at once. There are many local and foreign success stories of using organic fertilizer, and they have proven the value of using organic fertilizer over organic agrochemical use. I'm going to emphasize about local and foreign example of successful stories using the organic fertilizer. The best example for us. The Ahimsa organic tea is manufactured with the tea leaf supplied by 186 farmers. In the impeccability of the organic integrity of Ahimsa tea is proven with the doubt by the fact that during the past decade of operation, not a single complaint has been received from local or overseas buyers from non-complaints with organic standards. This shows the extent of the customer confidence placed on the Ahimsa organic brand. You can see Ahimsa tea average price is near to 1,700, and also it got first place in weekly and monthly. It is the best example for us. And also the 3-Star Organic Farm Private Limited has taken to approach to do organic farming to supply high quality organic products to the consumers. They are the inventor of cut organic leaves products, and they use post harvesting techniques to produce fresh leaves and vegetables which can be used easily prepared for meals. And also the Mihimadala Products Private Limited is formed to promote sustainable land management system among Sri Lanka farmers. The company aims to achieve holistic healthy while conserving soil, water, the biodiversity, and improving socio-economic status of the farming community. It maintains certified organic united organic farm with capacity of 4,000 kilograms of vegetables and fruit per month. That is the best example for local. And also, when we talk in the foreign example, the India, the country close to us, in the post-independence period, in the most important challenge in India has been to produce enough food for the growing population. Organic farming can provide quality food without adversely affecting the soil's health and the environment. The concern is whether large-scale organic farming will produce enough food for Indians' large population. And also in Mexico, the corn is considered a national heritage because they have made it mandatory that the cultivation should be done completely naturally without the use of chemicals. They also use the organic fertilizer method as a basis for their cultivation, and also they have achieved great success through it. The United Nations expect the global population to reach 8.5 billion by the year 2025. A frequently expressed concern is whether if organic farming were adopted on the large scale, global food requirement could still be met. As undergraduates of agriculture degree programs, we know many around the world, organic farming is becoming more widely available in the universities, and colleges have begun to introduce courses for students for full range of technique and degree level courses in organic agriculture. It is a big attention. And also the best example for Kenya, Philippines, the get largely successful story by using organic farming system. When we take the in 2020 world's leading tea producer countries, the first place goes to China, the second India, third Kenya, and fourth place goes to Sri Lanka. It is clear why Sri Lanka, which was in the first place, went to the fourth place. The China, India, and Kenya have come forward with this organic farming. Is in the best example of the success of organic use. As the third speaker of my opposite group said, if chemical fertilizer have so many advantages, will we go to this place today? Isn't this time for us to be economically stable? This is the best time to move our economy forward. And also, the third speaker of my opposite group said that this is not the time to increase the use of organic fertilizer. This is not a good season. I would like to ask, a former member of my team said that because of this agrochemical use, damage to our biosystem, ecosystem, we don't have weight. So can we be any longer late? When will the corona epidemic end? There is not set date. Should we stay in one place unless we get used in life with corona and move on with life? We are already late. So isn't this the best time to use organic fertilizer? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonali. So many questions raised for the opposing team. So from the opposing team, we have Vimsara Aryatilaka. Vimsara, so it is your opportunity to establish your motion in the House. Vimsara?
Am I audible and visible, madam?
Yes, yes, go ahead, Vimsara.
Okay. Okay, a very good evening to you all. So we all know that agriculture is a giant sector which contributes at large to the Sri Lankan economy. So the socio-economic impact of this sudden policy change is very high because about 25% of our labor is engaged in the agriculture sector. So is this decision timely in case of the economy? We know that we have used hybrid varieties with genetic improvements for many crops over the decades now. So we cannot run them without inorganic fertilizer. Obviously, the yields will drastically reduce. So if we take the tea sector, it is very important to the national economy in terms of foreign exchange. It contributes 1.4 billion USD to our export earnings. And I need to point out that SAEA points out that the absence of chemical fertilizer would drastically reduce the productivity of VPT by 35% and the export volume to 181 million kilograms. So that would in turn result in an income loss of 84 billion rupees. So it takes only 260 million rupees annually to import inorganic fertilizer. So by cutting down that cost, how much of a loss we have incurred? We have to incur. So obviously, we know now that to supply the same amount of nitrogen provided by 100 kilograms of urea, around 2 tons of compost have to be used. So this is particularly a valid argument against the use of compost alone. The estates, especially the tea estates, likely to incur significant loss compared to those of the tea smallholders because the cost of labor will also increase in order to apply these bulky organic fertilizers, especially in the tea sector. If the expected yield cannot be obtained, tea smallholders will not be engaged in cultivations no more, which will lead to an unemployment and eventually an increase in the poverty in rural agricultural communities. Also, if we cannot obtain the expected yield, we will have to import rice and other food items. If the local production of cereals is reduced by 30%, it is stated that our cereal importation will increase by 30 to 50%. So that is the situation. So in the floriculture sector, it will obviously be in the danger. There is no alternative for them. Even that few people engaged have made higher investments in these sectors. And on the other hand, definitely, high yield losses will result in rising food prices. It will eventually affect on overall consumer as a whole. So as my previous speaker stated, there may be many successful stories in other countries regarding organic farming. But if I ask you, which country is having the highest usage of inorganic fertilizer? I'm sure the answer would be Sri Lanka. But look closely here. We are not the biggest fans of chemical fertilizers. Here you can see in this graph very clearly that none of these countries have totally banned the inorganic fertilizer, even Australia. So I would like to ask from my opposing team whether this sudden decision our government has taken to make 100% of our total farmland organic an achievable one. definitely it won't be a success. So let's say that we do need a change of policy, but there is a method of doing it. So the problem should be identified why we need the policy. So our problem here is the overusage of inorganic fertilizer. Then we should set up the objectives of the new policy change. So when setting up the objectives, so our target here is to minimize this overusage of inorganic fertilizer, not to cut down, not to ban it totally. So for that, we should gather information, see what alternative options are there. We should circulate a draft policy among the stakeholders and improve it based on their input, and then only we need to implement it and evaluate the performance. So did the government took these decisions by taking into account these scientific evidences? I don't think so. So it's sad to say that most of these steps in the process was skipped when this fertilizer policy was changed. So I think the professionals in the agriculture sector would have been consulted before taking these blind decisions. So I think it is of utmost importance that these policymakers take more rational and timely decisions if we are to propel our country towards sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, Bimsara. Some very interesting thoughts there as well. So next up from the proposing team, we have Sachini Tisera. Sachini, are you there?
Madam, am I audible and visible?
Yes, yes, yes. You can go ahead, Sachini.
So I will start. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, honorable judges, the team of opposition, and the members of the House. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a sudden decision taken by the government. It has included in the cabinet decision in 2014 about driving towards sustainability, adhering to organic farming. Even the president stated that the Sri Lankan agriculture will be promoted using organic fertilizer during the next few years. The why is that we are having so many diseases and thinking about the future of our own nation. So towards sustainability, this ban on synthetic fertilizer agriculture is needly and a timely. It's obviously it's a need, and we have to, if we cannot implement it now, when we can do this. Coming to the point of the yield reduction in tea sector, I will give you a very reliable solution. As the previous speaker mentioned, that there are no successful stories in Sri Lanka. How do you say that? The thing is, the productivity and fertility are already outdated. We should already have some eye on the quality, because the time has come for a change. To see there are acute poisoning of weedicides and pesticides. The cancer patients are increasing day by day. So the fertilizer of the best grade, the fertilizer with best grade are not the fertilizer that actually we are importing. Actually, they are not the best grade. They have low quality and low grade fertilizers. So the chemical additives in the country, they always try to say that the organic farmer will not be able to produce a sufficient amount with the limited arable lands. But the small growers engage in organic agriculture with organic fair trade and the certification. They even export these to countries like Japan. So why we use arable lands? Mainly due to unsustainable agricultural practices. We are in a very critical situation where lands are becoming marginal, obviously. So yes, I will come up with a very good example, because in the Sri Lankan biofertilizer private limited was implemented in 2013. It's because the Sri Lanka was driving towards organic farming, not just a very sudden decision. It was gained in very previously by even the president and the government. So why can't we adhere some precision farming along with field monitoring and all those of drones? So your first thing is you have to remove the myth in your heads, because even the president very fairly stated that it is a kind of a very stress that dollars and dollars are going outward from the country to import this fertilizer. So there are so many factors that the non-organic fertilizer successes, because the Sri Lankan biofilm biofertilizer, you can see in the picture, they have produced biofilm R, biofilm T, biofilm veg DR compost like biofertilizer. So the biofilm T is particular for tea. I will raise that question, that tea is really helpless without synthetic fertilizer. No, obviously no, because eco-friendly fertilizer subsidy programs has been done, and the NIFS together with Tea Research Institute have already done researches and proved that the biofertilizer can cut down 50% of chemical fertilizer, the NPK requirement in nurseries as well as in cultivation. So how you obviously say that it's not practical to Sri Lanka? And there have been very, very successful in also tested for other crops like rice, maize, vegetables, fruits, and the the chemical fertilizer reduction is by 50% is already achieved. So why can't we adhere those biofilm biofertilizers and come into biofoods? There are so many companies that are going through producing biofoods, and they are driving through sustainability. So why can't the labor intensity we can convert into labor? We can provide so many job opportunities. Why can't we convert that? The thing is, we have to get together with nature, because we cannot. That even the president is saying that the president stress about USD 400 million is spent on fertilizer imports. So how that can be possible? So I will give some of the successful story in we are having 4.2 metric tons in rice per year, but according to the statistics, the Australia is having kind of 10 metric tons annually. So thing is, the not actually what we do is we have to go with this fertilizer. We have to have the thinking of our future. Otherwise, your babies and your coming generation will be totally the diseased people, because otherwise we have to have, without deviating from nature, we have to get together with nature. So we have to start it now, otherwise we will be in a very big disaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachini. Some very interesting facts and success stories brought by Sachini. So now from the opposing team, we have as the fifth speaker, Jay Intujan. Intujan, it's your time to bring your arguments to the table.
Madam, may I audible and visible?
Yes, Intujan, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My dear audience, I'm not convinced with the ban on agrochemicals usage is a timely need because of the farmers. Nowadays, farmers are facing several problems such as climate change, the ongoing trade war between USA and China, rapidly depleting resources of fresh water around the world. The looming food crisis, ongoing closure of
Intujan, could you give me a minute? Others, could you please unmute yourselves? PLT 1939, could you please mute your microphone? Intujan, please go ahead.
Madam, shall I start it again?
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. My dear audience, I'm not convinced with the ban on agrochemicals usage is a timely need because of the farmers. Nowadays, farmers are facing the most and several problems worldwide. The first one is climate change, the ongoing trade war between USA and China, rapidly depleting resources of fresh water around the world, the looming food crisis, ongoing closure of food processing facilities and local businesses due to the COVID-19 pandemic, depletion of natural resources due to the widespread industrial agricultural practices, high rate of food waste. Apart from these problems, there are so many problems among the Sri Lankan farmers. So now you can think and ask me, what are the connection between these problems and the topic? But definitely there is. So I would like to point out the problems sector-wise and list out the impacts of ban on agrochemicals usage. First, we'll take the tea industry. Vegetative propagator teas, that we know the VPTs, are developed to the yield better with organic fertilizers. TRI has recommended inorganic fertilizers. Once the fertilizers, the agrochemicals usage are banned, all fertilizer recommendation from TRI has been disregarded. There are approximately 2 lakhs hectares of tea lands in Sri Lanka. Annual tea production is about approximately 3 lakhs metric ton. Now it has been fallen to 2 lakhs and 80,000 metric ton. Now, so this shows the declining trend in the Sri Lankan tea industry. In this situation, ban on agrochemical usage is not a timely need. There are some policies regulator in the country. Asian Development Bank has given a loan with a credit scheme at the 4.75, I think the 4.75% interest rate and 10 years payback to develop the small tea holders in Sri Lanka. So if we get the loan, definitely we have the responsibility to pay that loan. Apart from this problem, there are lack of supply in the T65, T200 in the market. So the certain time should be given to the farmers to overcome these problems. So when it comes to the rubber industry, as we know about the rubber plantation are situated in well-raised areas, causing runoff to nutrients easily. When the immature stage of the rubber, we all know the immature stage of rubber is about 5 to 6 years. So especially in that period, they have more and more care. Especially 3.5 kilogram of inorganic fertilizer should be applied for the each plant with a cost of 150 rupees. But if it is a organic fertilizer, 18 kilogram of organic fertilizer should be applied for each plant with the cost of 360 rupees. So this is a very common problem among the rubber farmers. On other hand, farmers doesn't have any enough knowledge about the using of the organic fertilizer. So, my dear audience, it seems to that coconut industry also have these problems. The subsidy given 125 rupees for using organic fertilizer, but the actual cost of the organic fertilizer is 300 rupees. So this is the problem, and the coconut can be used as a manure, but uh, the manure is very highly demanded by its usage. So farmers of cashew and minor export crops also face this kind of practical challenges. This problem shows that ban on agrochemical uses is not a timely need. And to my dear audience, our opposite team was talking much and more about the sustainability. I would like to ask a question, and then they also will agree with my point, because the real meaning of the sustainability is definitely farmers. They are the backbone of the country, but they are facing more and more difficulties. So how can we get the sustainable development by ban on the agrochemical uses? On other hand, they told some successful stories. Definitely, they were very interesting. But we have to think about the Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's current situation is totally different from that country. For an example, Sri Lanka is well known for the Ceylon tea, but our country was top in the tea production. But now it has fallen to the fourth place. What is the reason? The reason is definitely lack of distribution of inorganic fertilizers to the farmers. So that is saying that prevention is better than cure. So first we have to prevent the declining trend of Sri Lankan agriculture, then we can cure the problems with integrated policies and regulation. So I hope you will understand the facts and you will agree with ban on agrochemical usage is not timely need to propel the sustainable country of Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Indrajan. So now we have the last speaker for the proposing team before the leader speaks again. So that is Sukita Ratnayaka. Sukita, please, switch on your video and you can go ahead now. Yes, you're audible.
Okay, good evening to my lecturers and my colleagues. At first, I asked why we consider moving to organic farming is impossible. We have 563 application services centers in country with those official developing the attitude of farmers and giving them knowledge. Why can't we move to the organic farming? Why can't we ban agrochemicals? Lack of knowledge is not an answer. My opposite team stated that we can't move to the organic farming when considering the economic. Yeah, when it comes to economic, it could get worse in the future. Consider approximate time, Sri Lanka loaned $250 million from Bangladesh, and it also expected to borrow another $400 million from India in August, and $800 million from International Monetary Fund in August, $500 million from South Korea, and $1.5 billion from China in February. Definitely, in the near future, we have to bear a huge debt burden. When considering inflation rate, it is increasing year by year. It was 2.14% in 2018, and it was 3.53% in 2019, and it was 6.15% in 2020. Because of that reason, dollar value is increasing day by day. The cost we have to spend in importation is increasing day by day. According to the National Fertilizer Secretariat, annual cost for organic fertilizer is 56 billion rupees. So it is difficult to spend this much of cost when considering the economic state, and when considering the economy, this is the best time to take the decision to move our country towards the sustainability. And my opposing team stated that there will be a yield loss when practicing the organic farming, and this is not the time to move. Yeah, I would like to remember fertilizer distribution is dependent on subsidies in Sri Lanka. It is given to farmers in whole or in part of free of cost. According to the future situation, if government stops these subsidies, what will happen? Farmers alone must bear to the total cost on fertilizer. So there will be a huge probability to farmers go away from the agriculture. The final result is a huge yield loss. So it is good if we switch to organic fertilizer now before we get into that point. And my third argument is organic farming allows us to prevent post-harvest loss. As estimated, 270,000 metric tons of vegetables and foods are wasted annually. It is 30 to 40 as a percentage. Loss to the Sri Lankan economy is around 20 billion rupees, and the average loss due to the use of organic fertilizer is 20%. So by considering this loss, we can get a tendency to reduce the post-harvest loss. It is good for economy as well as the environment. And I would like to ask a question from my opposing team. What is the reason for high demand of organic products in market today? The reason is we all accept that organic foods have good qualities. If farmers produce more organic foods to the market, this supply shortage and demand surplus will lower. So prices go up as supply prices go down as supply rises. It is very good opportunity to have good and safe food for Sri Lankans. And my third speaker of my opposite team mentioned that the organic fertilizer cost more. Did you consider about the damage and the hidden cost with or inorganic fertilizers? When comparing the damage to the environment when using inorganic fertilizers and hidden cost with subsidies, organic fertilizer is the least cost one always. And my opposing team said that about the labor intensity. Yeah. When considering consider contribution to the GDP in agriculture, it is 7%, but over 25% of Sri Lankans are employed in agriculture sector. When we have a look on this, agriculture not contribute properly when comparing to the employment. So we can use this 25% of Sri Lankan employees to reduce the effect of yield loss due to organic farming by increasing the yield. If organic farming doesn't need this much of employees, it is good opportunity to use their potential towards sustainability in Sri Lanka in other way, not in agriculture. And my opposing team, speak of my opposing team said that we have to import foods if we move to the organic farming now. Yeah, it would be, but it doesn't matter. We have to spend food. We have to spend on food for some for a small period. But we can use it directly, not like fertilizers. After a certain period, we will be able to build a self-sufficient economy with organic agriculture. If we don't take this initial cost and the risk, if it is difficult to move the country towards sustainability, we have to take the opportunity now. This is the best time. And the last speak of the opposing team said that tea industry had collapse with the lack of organic fertilizers. If we use organic fertilizer correctly, we can get a better yield than now. The best example is biofood. Thank you.
Thank you, Sugita. Thank you, Sugita. So, hello, am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Thank you, Sugita. The last speaker for the opposing team is Shashi Ekanayaka. Shashi, it's your opportunity now.
Let me share the screen, ma'am. I hope my screen is visible and I'm visible and audible enough, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sustainability. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Sustainability. The second speaker of the proposing team presented several ideas on the concept of sustainability woven around environment and ecology. But as an university ambassador working for SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, let me share my point of view and some other facts about sustainability concept. So sustainability in its means is concerning about meeting our own needs without restricting the needs of our future generations. I'm not saying so. The UN does. Also, University of Alberta, with collaboration with the UN, states that there's three pillars of sustainability, namely environment, economy, and the society. So, sustainability is not all about being 100% natural. It's not all about being 100% organic. It is all about utilizing existing resources in an optimum level in order to ensure a country's well-being. So, my point is, sustainability, we can still achieve it even without going for a 100% organic concept. So, talking about this optimum level, this brings me to my second concern. Recommended approach for fertilizer application is always the integrated application. It is not 100% organic fertilizer. It is not 100% inorganic fertilizer. It is the optimal level. Optimal level is always a value in between. So it is not 100% abatement in any course. And here I have found some research papers collected from all around the world again and again proving my statement. So, reducing this inorganic fertilizer level into zero will not always increase the yield as we expect. Instead, it can completely turn this around and decrease the yield. We do have evidence from Sri Lanka itself. Let me share. So, hope these two graphs are visible. So, I obtained these two graphs from Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the statistical bulletin reports. So, these two graphs represent the drastic yield decline of tea sector and floriculture sector for past couple of months. So, obviously, the reason behind this, apart from the pandemic, is obviously this sudden impose on farmers of fertilizer ban. And next, talking about the commercial food sector in Sri Lanka, let me take you to the Green Revolution era. Sri Lanka was also influenced by this Green Revolution in late 1960s, and as a result, several hybrid varieties of agricultural commodities were introduced to Sri Lanka. And these varieties were high yielding, and they had a certain amount of pest and disease resistivity, and they were early maturing varieties. And by now, more than 90% of Sri Lankan farmers are growing these improved varieties instead of the traditional varieties they used to grow. That's because of these improved characteristics. So these improved varieties do essentially require certain amount of inorganic fertilizer, nutrient, pesticides, or the fungicides. So let me take an example from floriculture sector. We cannot even think about maintaining a cut flower garden without inorganic nutrients. And also, I do have another example. This article was published in the Sunday Island newspaper on 23rd of May this year, and this is all about the inorganic fertilizer requirement of hybrid tea varieties in Sri Lanka. So I think these articles and examples again prove my point. So moving on to the final phase, I'd like to move on to organic fertilizer manufacturing process in Sri Lanka. So we know by now with this ban, we are producing organic fertilizers in our country itself. But do we have necessary infrastructure? Can we attain the supreme quality of organic fertilizer produced inside Sri Lanka? So that is a problem. Comparing the quality, inorganic fertilizers, even though they are imported to the country or produced inside the country, quality of inorganic fertilizers are assured. They are produced under standard certified conditions, but organic fertilizers, they're just you see in social media and all, they're just producing or processed in open environments. They just think if a single used torch battery is mixed with a compost sample, how much damage a single 1 milligram of lead can do to a certain field. We cannot even imagine it. That's about the quality. And talking about the quantity, will our government and our organic fertilizer manufacturers be able to supply organic fertilizer in a required quantity, in a required rate, in a long run? So that is obviously a problem. So government should have thought of this before imposing such kind of strict barrier on innocent farmers. Otherwise, this will too end up by importing organic fertilizer from China or somewhere else and end up just like every other failed overnight projects in Sri Lanka so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashi. Now we have come to the end of our lineup. All the 6 speakers have spoken. But before winding up the session, we are going to give another chance for our team for our team leaders from both teams. So first up, we have Raushan Nistar from the proposing team leader. Raushan, you'll be getting 3 minutes for your speech and to summarize the facts given by your teammates and to establish your motion once again. Raushan?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. And again, am I audible
Yes.
and visible?
Yes, go ahead,
Okay,
Raushan.
thank you. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, and 1 second. Okay, coming back to the end of our battle, I think that my house is strong enough to emphasize that the point we are on. Then that the ban on agrochemicals is a timely need that will propel our country towards sustainability. I say one, two, and millions of times that definitely this must be done at any cost. The opposition house's second speaker said that it was a problem because of COVID-19 issue. It's rather a thing to be opposed by us as we are strong enough to face the COVID-19 in any modulation of it, where it may be delta, beta, gamma, or whatever. It was clearly stated by our fourth speaker, and I asked the same question from the opposition house members why we are far down than the past in agriculture. It's obviously clear that we have not actually defeated the challenges. So I repeat it that facing the challenges in a way that would raise up our nation by doing a change right from now is a great thing to be encouraged. So why it will be totally banned? If we were to see this total ban scenario in a positive way, it is that a total ban is not imposed. What would happen with all the farmers? This was done by some agriculturists all this time. They were doing a great job locally, as our first speaker stated. There are well-known places for organic agriculture who have come up with new and creative ideas, and they have succeeded. So they are also working a lot to cooperate decision to be taken by the government. So it is very clear that the people who will totally agree with this, irrespective of the other challenges, but towards a very positive destination, would be in this path and agree the way forward, as like the agriculturists which I was telling you about. So but the helpless farmers, poorly educated being mainly the backbones of agriculture, who are in the field, would follow a way to live their day-to-day life irrespective of the good impacts of this way forward. Not only the farmers but also the high authorities who are rude enough to get wealth through businesses at any loss of other stuffs. The thing I am to clear you is the government intervention on this total ban on agrochemicals is good. That this decision is not only to farmers or a set of people. This change would positively affect the chain of agriculture from producer to consumer in their economical, ecological, and healthy life. In any instance, if we are saying that nature will harm the nature, it's very wrong, my respectable opposition members. So nature will always welcome nature and its products. So I will simply say a piece of polythene buried which is artificial will be harmful to soil than that of a natural creature or a human being buried. So I think that this way forward by banning agrochemicals should be done now. I highlight that this banning done would create more productive agriculturists, researchers, agriculture-related firms, and other government bodies to face the challenges and to propel our country towards sustainability. This will definitely make a huge change, which will take our beautiful island to the world in an innovative way. I would like to end my part from here and thank you for the great opportunity.
Thank you, Roshan. So from the beginning until the very end, proposing team, they have been very firm on their stand that ban on agrochemical usage is a very timely decision that will propel our country towards sustainability. Now it is your time, Sanoj Rosa, to disagree and to establish your motion in the House. Rosa?
Yes. Madam, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. So let me start now. So I want to start this speech with something which I shouldn't be saying at the start of a speech. I'm speechless. I totally agree with my opponent team. I do. Yes, but only if this sudden ban of agrochemicals happened on another timeline in another country of another planet. Agriculture is the country's food supplier. Do you really, really want to mess that up? My dear proposing team, Do your scientific tables measure COVID 19 and travel restrictions as factors when calculating the efficiency of biofertilizer and the sustainability which is achievable? I hope not. And did the cabinet decision in 2014 know about COVID 19? I hope not. So, how can goals planned before the pandemic be suitable when the pandemic is still not over? The timing is very bad, isn't it? So, the possible problems are clearly not foreseen. Think of this: if a sudden labor migration happens due to the low income, then what? Who's gonna pluck your teeth? Who's gonna tap your rubber? And we know, especially for tea and rubber, there are site specific fertilizers. Do we know any site specific organic fertilizers? Are we going to wait? I mean, you might say that we can develop, so are we going to wait until they're developed? So how long should we wait? And somebody spoke about its organic certifications. And do you know the very basic organic certifications cost about 300,000 rupees? And if you want to send to countries like Japan and United States, you're gonna have more certificates like JAS and USDA, and and the total cost will be like 500,000 rupees. So I hope my opposing team will go and lend some money to the farmers to buy all these organic certifications. And I know for tea, it takes a minimum of 3 years to convert. So are we going to wait for 3 years to have these premium economic benefits in the world market? And think of rubber. Now, rubber needs fertilizers in the immature when they immature very specially. So, if because of the lack of fertilizer, if the trees take more time to reach the tappable girth, then who's gonna be responsible for that economic loss? And organic methods needs recycling. It's all about recycling. So think of coconuts. I mean, rubber, you have the annual leaf fall, so it's okay. Now think of coconut. Every part of the coconut tree is removed from the plantation. So these kind of sectors gonna need tons more and more fertilizer. So it's very unfair for certain sectors especially. And dear opposition, do not forget, the whole country needs to be shifted. I'm sorry, what you showed is only for small farms, and no field trials on a large scale has been made. And remember, I think my time is over. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosa. So, two very strong teams and so many arguments brought forward, and one trophy to win. So, it's not going to be an easy decision. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be very tough on our judge board. Therefore, we are going to take a 10-minute break so our judge board can get together and finalize the winning team. So, take this break and we will be back precisely after 10 minutes. Thank you. To our honorable members of the judge panel, I would like to kind of let you know that the breakout room is now open. You can join for that particular session now. Thank you.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Everyone, the breakout room will end in 58 seconds. Therefore, you all can now come back to the session. We will start the session in few minutes, in about 1 minute. Rosa, could you please stop screen sharing? Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back to the session after the break, small break that we had. And I'm pretty sure now you all have a certain group in your mind as to who won the battle. But I must say that after looking at the marks, it was not an easy decision. It was a very tough decision, and the fight was quite close. And before I announce the winners, I would like to take a minute to acknowledge all your efforts, all your valiant efforts put forward today. I mean, I must say that you have researched well, and it was really nice to hear you all speaking. So thank you very much, all my dear students. It was a really good effort from your side. So now I would like to take a moment to address to get the feedback from our honorable panel of judges regarding today's event and the performance of our students. Honorable panel of judges, the forum is open for you all now. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. I hope everybody can hear me. Can you?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. So we are very happy about your performance and your talents, because it was really a battle. And we saw some students in the class, but this is the first time actually I heard the voice of some of you, I mean the members, some students. You did really a very good job, and as the staff members, so your teachers, we are very happy about that. And this is high time, of course, to talk about the title that we took here. Everybody is talking on this, and everybody is now keen, and they are listening, they are reading, they are collecting information on the issue related to this banning of agrochemicals, which includes both the fertilizers plus the pesticides, right? There are, I mean, both the pros and cons, but we have to take separately. You pointed out the things, I mean, with your capacity and with your, I mean, encouragement. So that gave a very good platform for, I mean, for many of the students to learn many things. On the other hand, actually, this will be an initiation. So we were talking about your performance, and then we thought we should have kind of, I mean, similar activities at least once a year. That will be the minimum, of course, right? We should have something similar, I mean, similar to this to see your performance, because We should give more opportunities. I think last week or last week, one of the senior professors in another university talked to me for another thing, and at that time he told me that, I mean, your students are performing very well in the interviews, and he was asking about the secret behind this. That I explained about your curriculum arrangement and also this broad general education, essential skills development, and other, the engagement that you make during the university time to improve your knowledge. In addition to, of course, knowledge, the skills plus attitudes, right? So now we feel that, I mean, what we have done have worked, of course, during last couple of years, and you have taken the positive things of this. This is really important because especially, after completing this degree program, when you go out, you will feel that all these are kind of assets for you. The way you use, I mean, the things that you did during the university life will be helpful for you to improve, for you to perform once passed out. So that is a general thing that I want to say. And regarding the title, of course, the ban on agrochemical usage is a timely need that will propel the country towards sustainability, which is, of course, an important title. And you were trying to, I mean, compiling the information, you were trying to arguing, and you were trying to supporting, and some people, arguing in another way. So I have a kind of a different, I mean, reading on this, but I'm very happy about the way you presented. Of course, as a country, I mean, you were telling about the story, some of you were presenting the history of that. So in 1950s, 50s and 60s, when this green revolution happened, what happened, of course, was, I mean, the population increased. So at that time, it was like 2 billion. Now, if you have a look on the population, it is reaching to, 8 billion, which is, which is a huge amount of people now living in this world. Therefore, I mean, the scientists, especially the agriculturists, they wanted to look for some other ways to produce the food for the need of the people of the world. So that is how this, this topic, or this, introducing these agrochemicals came into the stage or to the picture. So, over the time, sometimes people only paid about, their attention on applying chemicals and, taking the yield and the profit and all, but sometimes they forgot about the environment and related aspects. So that is how now we have come to this kind of scenario at the end, and people are, arguing, being in one side, and the other people say, yeah, no, this should not happen, something like, I mean, there are different stories. But yes, there's a story, or there's an argument, I mean, in the country. So I again, invite you all to read more and collect some information. And as the graduates or the undergraduates, of course, and who are supposed to graduate in near future, so you should have a kind of, I mean, solid background related to the current issues of the country and the world. Therefore, make the best use of this and get the things, and we will thorough, and we will see how the things would move in next couple of years with this, because government has taken a kind of decision. So people are getting ready from one side, and the other people say that they should have been done at least taking a time period. Yeah, it's something to be thought now. Anyway, so I invite you to read about that and collect more information. And overall, again, I have to say, I have to wish you all the best for your performance and for your, the interest on these kind of things. So that is amazing, and I was really happy and wonderful about this. And in presenting, actually, we saw that your talents, how you manage the time, and how you get the things into a kind of giving a story on, I mean, in this kind of very limited time period, because you have to perform within a very short time period. Time is limited. Then, everything has to work inside of your mind, which one should be taken out and how they are taken out, and what is the order, what should be, exactly said, and what should be the point that would be more important to give an opposite idea to the other people, something like that. And at the same time, you had to think about how the thing should be brought forward, because you are working as a team. You cannot do the things alone. When the first performer, starts the things and up to the last one, so it should be a kind of, it's like a relay. Therefore, everybody has to perform. I think in that sense, I think everybody performed well. For me, the winners and the runners up, it is immaterial for me, but I think I really appreciate your performance and the things. So anyway, I have observed. I mean, in some pinpoints or some couple of points. I mean, here and there. Therefore, I'm telling these things in general. Maybe you can take them to improve you in future. I'm not focusing anyone. Overall, all perform. I mean, very well. So you did a good job. But as I told, I mean, you are given a very limited time, and therefore you have to be very specific and very focused, right? You should not make, for example, the general statements in these kind of debates. So I saw some people make some general statements, so which will sometimes be, I mean, a problem for the evaluators, especially because there are criteria or kind of guidelines given for the panel of judges to evaluate. Then we have to read them, and we have to, we have to do a kind of comparison whether you are in the correct flow, whether you are providing the information as per the guideline or the criteria given for the evaluation. Therefore, this is very important. And whenever possible, I guess you should bring the examples, realistic examples. They should, they should be touching the heart of the people. That is very important. Many of you brought them, but I'm still saying, when you take the examples, if you can show that, yeah, if you do this, yeah, this will happen with some figures, some facts and the things. So that will be really important. And other than that, the organization, sometimes some little, I mean, panic wage gatiyak tibuna ne samonu gare. From the start up to the end, there should be a story all the time. Then you should support with your full of energy to bring that story out. So that is something that, I mean, we expect uh, from this kind of things you did. But yeah, still I'm telling. The other thing, time management. I saw something, time management. Some people thought that you wanted to finish before the time. Time is over. එහෙම නෙවෙයි, ටයිම් එක දීලා තියෙනවා නම් ටයිම් එකටම සමහරවිට අර පොඩ්ඩක් ඉස්සරහයි. එහෙම තිබුණා නිකන් අර තප්පර ගානක් වෙන්න ඇති, සමහර විනාඩියක් විතර යන්න ඇති නේ. එහෙම තිබුණ තැනුත් තිබුණා. But yeah, make sure you make the best use of the time. එකයි අර දැන් if you are given 5 minutes, you have to be prepared because this is a task. This is a challenge, of course. So as I told before, realistic issues would give more energy for your flow and for the audience to get some from you. Therefore, always make sure you bring the stories which are relevant to the people and which have been discussed. I mean, at the moment, that is very important. And the final statement, I mean, we were expecting that everybody would finish or complete, or they end up with your presentation with a very good statement. That is very important. So always make sure that you have a conclusive statement. So that will be the thing that, I mean, finally the audience here. Therefore, I mean, in this kind of time එක වෙලාවකට ඉවරනම සමහරවිට ටිකක් එක්සයිට් වුණා. එතකොට සමහරට හිතේ තියාගෙන ඉන්න ඇති එක තියාගන්න ගියාම පොඩ්ඩක් එහෙම ආවා. ඒක therefore තප්පර දෙක තුනක් එහා මෙහා ගියට it's not a problem, but make sure you give the final message to the audience. So sometimes that will be the final statement or the message taken from you in this kind of thing, even in a presentations, right? So those are the things actually I just want to say overall. But for me, this is a very good opportunity to see your performance, and I'm very happy, and I wish you all the best. And I hope this would happen again and again, and take the leadership from your side and organize the things. We want the Agro Club to be more punctual now, functional vendor. So that is like now dormant. So make sure you take the challenge and go for many or more opportunities. Giving the opportunities, of course, the others as well. Now you 6 into 2 12 people presented, and there could be some others as well. So other than debates, you can do some other works as well. So we'll be always behind you. We are very happy to help you. So this will be a very good initiation. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for those inspiring words. Will there be another member speaking from the judge panel?
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Vidarshini. And yeah, actually, we had an interesting, very well, and debated very well, I would say. And in this kind of an activity event, the most important thing is your active participation rather than be the winners, right? Everyone won, right? Why I should say this? During the past few weeks, you try to collect a lot of information regarding related to your topic, and as well as for the opponent side, right? Information from different sources, and by that you updated your knowledge, subject knowledge, especially. Other than that the knowledge, and you develop or improve skills, right? Especially the language skills, right? One of the objective of this is to improve your language skills and also the communication skills, debating skills, and yeah, also a lot of social and emotional skills, right? And also on top of that, you did this as a group work, teamwork, right? Team spirit that is actually lacking in now younger generation, right? So you did it very well, and I'm not going to comment each and every point. And also, other than the knowledge and skills, and you open to the real world situation, and you try to identify the real problems in the world, and you learn how to handle them, and try to find the practical means of solution. Likewise, you expose to the world, right, when you do such kind of things. And that's why I said that everyone won, right? Okay, I congratulate all of you, and also in the future, through the Agro Club, we will support, and you can organize a lot of activities, and we will definitely support you. Yeah, and this is a good initiation through our head project. Thank you very much for all members of two groups. Thank you. Wish you good luck. Thank you.
Hello, good evening to you all.
Good evening, sir.
Right, okay. As the coordinator of the head, the project of the Department of Export Agriculture, I would speak a few words. And at the outset, let me thank you and let me congratulate both the teams. Actually, we had a very excited and very interesting debate. So that actually we organized this particular activity under the head project. In the head project, we had a couple of thematic areas under which we had one area to improve the language skills of the students and even the socio-emotional skills, under which we have actually lined up a number of activities, but unfortunately, because of the prevailing situation, we could not be able to conduct this thing. We have to keep on postponing this thing. At this particular juncture, we thought of to trial this out. Actually, we have designed this debate to have the physical one, but eventually we thought of going for this trial. I think actually it's really it happened really well, so that we all are winners. Actually, it's really a good opportunity, and even in future we can come up with this type of the activities. And under this English language activity, we do have the number of activities, so that we invite you to get involved in this activity. And some of the activities would have to go some online activities. And about the debating and all those things, you heard a lot of things. And I would like to say one thing, that is, being an undergraduate, it is very important to be very sensible and very attentive about the things happening around us. Particularly, this particular issue is very touching for us and very relevant to us. And so that we have to be very vigilant, and we have to be very we have to collect the information, and we have to be very active on this particular issue, so that it is pretty happy that you have collected a lot of information, and you try to set your the argument. So that's went really well. And at the same time, I take this opportunity to thank the activity, the coordinator of that particular activity, Professor Janaka Vijay Singh, and his team, including Vidarshani, in organizing this the particular activity. This is a novel the experience for us, right? So that it was organized very successfully. So that I must thank, and particularly the participants of both the side. You did a really fantastic job, so that now we do not have any hesitation for to go this type of activities. And it is, in a way, it is a kind of a break of boredom of this online lectures. I am pretty sure that even the conducting of online lectures is a very boring thing, and even I'm pretty sure that from your side it is not really very interesting to this the online things. But still, online debate is a very interesting thing. Even in the future, we can have this type of activity. Even after the head project, we can have this type of activities. So that with that thing, I would stop my few words, and once again congratulate you. And actually, in this type of a thing, there is no true winners and true the defeaters. And you have done your jobs to the maximum. And of course, with this is the nature. There must be a winner and there must be a loser. Because of this thing, we are going to announce this thing. It again, I think you might have get good experience. I think that this is the first experience of you, many of you, doing a debate online. But I do not know how did you feel this thing, whether it is effective to read into the glass, or whether it is effective when the opponent side is in front of you, and you can see their expressions and all these things. I don't know how did you feel this thing. Anyway, the event happened really well, and thank you very much for every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. And I'm pretty sure now all of you are waiting to know who actually going to walk out with the trophy, who actually won the battle, right? But let's not go there just yet, because I'm going to first announce the winner of the award for Best Speaker. So the award for Best Speaker actually goes out to Mr. Sanoj Rosa, representing Tea Technology and Value Addition Degree Program. Congratulations, Rosa, for your win. That was you actually put forward some excellent skills there. So congratulations, Rosa, for your win. And next, congratulations. And next, I would like to announce the winning team of today's match. First, I must mention that there are no losers. Like Sir mentioned, there are no losers today, since you all demonstrated excellent skills today, excellent communication skills, the logical thinking, analytical skills. They were excellent. They were all in very excellent level, and we enjoyed the debate from the beginning to the end. So it was a very interesting evening. So don't be discouraged. But it's a battle, so of course we have to announce a winner. So I must say that was a nail-biting fight, and it was a very close. The difference between the two teams is there's only a small difference of 3 points actually. So congratulations, winning team. The winning team is the opposing team. So congratulations, opposing team. You have established your motion. Ban on agrochemical usage is not a timely decision that will propel our country towards sustainability. So you have established the motion today here. So congratulations, both team. I would like to convey my appreciation for all the students who participated today. Since I know that since this is the end of the semester, you all are with heavy workload. So thank you very much for your participation, and maybe we will have similar competitions in the future as well, like sir mentioned. So before winding up, I want to invite Professor WAJP Vijay Singha, the activity coordinator of this event, to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Vidarshini. Hope you all can hear me, right?
Yes, sir, we can hear
Yes,
you clearly.
okay, right. So very good evening to you all. This is, I think, it's a long-awaited event actually coming under head departmental project, and today we were able to complete it in a very successful manner, I think, right? Even though we could not arrange the event physically, so this was a kind of new experience, as all the others mentioned, and an online debate. Indeed, all the speakers in both teams made it really interesting to the viewers, and wish you all the best and congratulate to the both teams, right? And without taking much time, so as the activity coordinator, so I would like to take this opportunity to convey my gratitude to those who have extended their support towards the success of this event. Big thank should go to the panel of judges joined with us today, Professor Saman Herat, the Dean of the Faculty. Uh, so you accepted our invitation even with your busy schedule, and so you were able to reserve time. And thank you very much for being with us today and for your wonderful thoughts. And then Professor Vasanta Seneviratna, head of the department, and also Dr. Prasad Mahindaratna, head project coordinator. So thank you very much and appreciate your contribution. So especially Dr. Prasad, you actually your inputs so are very highly appreciated during organizing the event. And also an event like this cannot happen overnight, and I'm quite happy to see every very motivated and dedicated two teams here. And then as the organizing committee, we would like to appreciate the active participation of all the speakers today. And then I'm happy to express the thanks to all the academic staff members and all the students who have joined with us to witness this event in this evening. Finally, appreciation goes to the organizing committee. Especially, I should mention the two names, Ms. Vidarshini Allepol and Ms. Gayatri Ratnayaka. So they have done a marvelous job. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for all the others who extend their support to make this event a success. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Congratulations, Rosa, and the two teams.
And I must say, like, I'm thankful for all the 11 participants who sacrificed their time, especially the study leave, and putting all their time aside and giving support to the departments. So I must be very thankful. And so I should mention Vidya Ranthika from CST, because he's the one who's supporting with the live stream. So thank you, and to everyone else, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Both teams, members.
Thank you. Congratulations, Rosa, and thank you all the participants who, without any hesitation, agreed to come here today and during your heavy workload. So now we have come to the end of our session, and it says that all good things must come to an end. But on the contrary, I must say, let's make this the beginning of yet another exciting event series for our undergraduates. So I'm only going to hit the pause for today's event, not going to end, but I'm going to hit the pause for today's event with this last thought by Albert Einstein. A great thought begins by seeing something differently with a shift of the mind's eye. Thank you all for participating. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Students, if you can stay for a minute, the contestants.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that your certificates and awards we will send those certificates to you in due course. Okay, I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. We have prepared everything, so you will
Yeah.
receive it in due course.
The debate was the greatest pleasure, madam.
Yeah, it was, and you all did a fantastic job. Thank you so much, and especially is Bimsara and Sachini there. That was some nice speech, even though you mentioned that the heavy workload and all. You actually did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for all the 12 participants, right? And I just want to say that we appreciate your effort, and when we have similar kinds of events, please do participate. Okay.